Welcome to the Cry Harder podcast. I'm your host, Chris Black, and I'm here to party. No, I'm just kidding. So welcome back. I'm recording this on a Thursday night. Normally, I will have episodes every Sunday, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you a special one tonight. Just felt like doing it. But anyway, like I said, it's a Thursday. It's been kind of a long week. I had 2 weeks off for like the Christmas holiday, and so I'm back at work, and I work in like an office and that sort of thing, like hybrid. And it's just been a long week. You're out of the grind, you're out of the monotony or the whatever you want to call it, the job, and then you're back. And it's just that first week back always drags, and then after that it'll be fine. But whatever. So my week's been rough. Hopefully, you have had a good week, or maybe you have the same experience. But I do want to just kind of start off with saying that kind of a big like life moment in my life, at least. So my daughter, who's almost 4 years old, she went to preschool, or she started preschool on Monday. So she's been going all week, and so far so good. But she was in daycare most of her life. Both her mother and myself. We both work, and so unfortunately, you need that daycare, and you need somebody to take care of her. And so she was in there her whole life. So this is kind of a new experience. There's like more kids. There's, I think, anywhere from 8 to 10 kids in her class, whereas in daycare there were only just like 2 or 3 at a time. So kind of a big change in terms of that. And it's just growing up. We're all growing up. She's growing up. I'm growing up. It's just a reminder. It's like, you can't slow time down, which obviously I kind of want to. I think she's like the perfect age. She's she's really, because you can like talk to her, you can have conversations, you can explain stuff, she's just really cute. You don't have like those meltdowns when they're like 2 almost 3. She's kind of past that. I mean, occasionally she does, but we're kind of out of that stage. So it's like a great stage. You want to like wrap it up, bubble wrap it. Can't do it. But anyway, so she started kindergarten. No, not preschool. Hold on, we're moving too fast. So preschool. So, the first day when I picked her up, her mom and I dropped her off in the morning. Met the teacher. Well, we'd previously met the teacher, but we kind of did it again. Kind of went over things again. So when I picked her up, initially she said, "Oh, I had a great time," that sort of thing. But then when I got home, she said, "Oh, like the kids didn't play with me." And she says, "I played by my own." Because she should say I played by myself, but she says, "I played by my own." So, or she could say I played on my own, but she says by my own. We'll work on it. But anyway, so I felt, it's like as a parent, your heart like sinks, and it's like, oh my God, like, she can have friends, and she's very social. She's very like bubbly, very outgoing, almost dominant, I would say, in a way. she's very assertive, I would say, for, a 3.5-year-old or whatever. But anyway, so we were kind of concerned. And then after that, today's Thursday. So every day after that, she's kind of, I think, made friends and kind of got acclimated. And I think that it's actually going better. And I think it's going well, which is all that as a parent and as a dad, that's all I can hope for. And so what's actually funny is, both my wife and I kind of think like, okay, if you're in a new school, even if you're like 4, you're still going to say, oh, I did this, I did that, I did that. I met this person, I met Joey, I met Jackson, all the kids are named Jackson now, or Olivia, Olivia. And there is a Jackson for sure in the class anyway. But but anyway, you would think she'd want to talk about it, but she doesn't. It's kind of like pulling teeth, like when we're trying to talk to her about it. So she does talk, but it's like I'm still trying to figure out what they eat for lunch. Like she keeps saying that they eat cereal or and I know they do have some like cereal packets and bran, but I'm like, are you eating like more substantial stuff? So we're gonna put our well, not put anything, but we're gonna investigate this and make sure she's eating. I mean, they should be serving her lunch. So anyway, so we kind of feel like she should be kind of talking more, but she just doesn't really want to talk about it. I think she's kind of tired and just kind of pooped at the end of the day. So that's probably it. And cheers, by the way. Just made a little drink to loosen up to do this here. But anywho, yeah. So I think it's going well for the first day, and we're kind of getting into our new routine. The time's a little bit different. So like when she gets dropped off, when she has to get picked up. Actually, the time picking up is the same, but just like the routine, and I have to like check her out. So it's an adjustment. So we're all getting used to it, but I think it's obviously going to be for the better. I really do. So we'll see how it goes, but so far, so good. So just a few things just wanted to touch on. So the weekend, what are we doing this weekend? Okay, so like first, I mentioned this in the last pod, but my wife's best friend's husband, it's his 50th birthday party. So he's having a party, if you will, and apparently it's at Viewpoint Brewing, which is a place in Del Mar, California, or part of San Diego. So it's kind of a cool, if you call it, I guess it's a brewery, but it's like a nice brewery, and it's has a nice area where the kids can play, and then it's got a nice view of almost like the Del Mar Fairgrounds. So it's named Viewpoint for a reason. It's kind of scenic and stuff. So we've been there a few times before. So that should be good. It's my birthday on Monday. So, we're still trying to figure out what we want to do for that. So I'm almost saying like maybe this could be, just going to this will be my celebration. We can, even though this guy doesn't know it, I'll just double up and make the party about me. But I don't know. If I'll go for that. But anyway, because like having a Monday birthday, I mean, that kind of sucks. I mean, I'm not a huge birthday person, to be honest, so it doesn't matter that much to me. But my wife, like for instance, her birthday this year it's like 2 weeks after mine, and it's on a Saturday. So she's a huge birthday person, and just so excited that her birthday's on a Saturday. I don't really care, like just let's celebrate that weekend, whatever. But some people it's a big deal, and I get that. I totally get that. So, but for me, not so much. So anyway, so that we have that, and then I think I referenced this again in the pod last week, but I'm a big Eagles fan, right? So the Eagles are playing the San Francisco 49ers. So it's like this family civil war because I'm from Philadelphia. I'm an Eagles fan, and my wife's family are Niners fans, and so that's happening. I was pretty heated in the last week, but I'm kind of resigned to whatever happens. So that game's at 1:25 Pacific time on Sunday. So I watched that. So that's kind of the plan, and then we'll kind of go from there. And then, so that I work next week, still kind of getting used to the daycare or our schedules there. So then next up, I had mentioned that, I'm going to cousin Jake's bachelor party, in Austin, Texas. So I kind of briefly mentioned some barbecue stuff, um, barbecue places I might want to try out. But what I was thinking is, if anybody here is interested, I could just kind of pull up things to do in Austin. We can talk about it. If anybody watches this, if you have any recommendations, put them in the comments or whatever. Or maybe it's like don't even go. I don't know, but yeah, just put them in the comments. Okay. So I'm just gonna look this up. We're gonna do this in real time. Now I'm not sharing my screen. I'm just gonna literally Google some of this stuff. Do in Austin, Texas. Okay. Why don't we go with AI? I'm kind of I like to use AI. So it's looking it up. And then I wear glasses, and I'm actually going to wear them right now so that I can read. I try not to wear them as I do the podcast, so I look better, but it's whatever. Okay. Okay, so this says iconic Austin experiences. So the first one is see the bats at the Congress Avenue Bridge. So from late March to early fall, witness the spectacular flight of North America's largest urban bat colony. 1.5 million Mexican free-tailed bats emerge from under the bridge at sunset. You can watch from the bridge, nearby lawn, or take one of the numerous bat watching boat tours. That's pretty cool. Actually, in the last podcast, I did mention this because I did note that it goes on. It starts late March. So this is January. I'm gonna miss it. So it's fine. I'm okay missing it. I've seen bats. We'll survive. Okay, next up. And if anybody sees this as an opinion, I'd like it, but I already kind of made my mind up. But so the next one is explore the Texas State Capitol. So tour the impressive granite building, which is taller than the U.S. Capitol. That actually is pretty cool. And explore its historic chambers and extensive grounds. Free guided and self-guided tours are available daily through the State Preservation Board. Okay, I mean, that is something that I probably would like to do. The only problem is I'm there on, a bachelor party. I'm there for, from Friday to Sunday, and there's not going to be, probably a lot of time for like sightseeing, although I am doing this in case I do have time. I'll do one of these things, but, okay, oh, here's something we can do. Okay, stroll South Congress Avenue. So this is in the heart of the Keep Austin Weird movement, and I think I messed up that expression last time. Anyway, featuring a mix of funky boutiques, antique shops like Uncommon Objects, and a variety of food options like Gordo's, I didn't pronounce that right, food trailer, street art like iconic I Love You So Much mural at Joe's Coffee. Okay, so I think that's something we can do, and in fact, I think our Airbnb is near, or might be on Congress Avenue or right off of it, so that's something. And then lastly, here it says experience live music. So Austin is known as the live music capital of the world. Hundreds of venues. Visit legendary spots like the Continental Club for rock and blues, or the Honky Tonk Broken Spoke for two-stepping lessons. That actually sounds like a good idea for all of that stuff. That actually seems like pretty interesting. And I do think we would want to see live music. Now, unfortunately, it's a bachelor party. There's talk of strip clubs and things like that. That's not my cup of tea. I'm not judging. I don't care. I just been there, done that. Not that interested. And it's a bachelor party, so you got to give grace to whoever's bachelor. That's fine. That's what they want to do. And somebody did bring up bottle service tonight. Or today, we have like a text thread with everybody. I don't know. That just seems, bottle service at a club in Austin, Texas. I don't know. That doesn't seem very bachelor party cool. I don't know. What do I know? But it doesn't seem like it. Okay, so outdoor stuff. I'm not sure, honestly, how much we'll get to do with this, but there's Zilliker Park, which is 3 acres, and there's a pool. Now, I actually kind of want to do this. It's the Barton Springs pool. It's like a public pool, and it could be warm enough to just jump in. I don't know. I mean, honestly, though, I like my pool temperature like in the 90s, so maybe not. But whatever. Okay, next, paddle Ladybird Lake. Okay, so you can rent a kayak, a canoe, or stand-up paddleboard and enjoy stunning skyline views from the water. There's the 10-mile Ann and Roy Butler hike and bike trail surrounding the lake, which is perfect for walking, jogging, biking. Okay, I don't know about that. I mean, I would kayak, and that actually sounds cool. I'm not going to be able to do it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it. There's a few other things. I'm not even going to mention them just because. Oh, okay. So let's move on to the food stuff, the barbecue. So it says Austin is famous for its culinary scene. Sample authentic barbecue places like Franklin Barbecue or Terry Black's Barbecue and enjoy Tex-Mex across the city. That is something I would like to do. Okay, so I'm going to do some of those. I don't know. Maybe both of those, one of them, I don't know. Then explore the food truck scene. So there's a food truck park called The Picnic. So that, sometimes I honestly can be a little sketchy with food. Like, I don't, do I like food trucks? But honestly, if it's like a well-known one, that's fine. I'll do that. Actually, I went to a really good one in Oahu, in Hawaii. There's a food truck park, and there's a famous like shrimp. Is it a garlic shrimp? Shrimp taco? No, I think it's a shrimp. Giovanni's, I believe it's called, and it was very good. I really liked it. I don't know if my wife liked it, but I liked it. Anyway, I was out of a food truck, so the point being, I will do food truck stuff. Then there's a Museum of the Weird downtown. Okay, that's fine. Then again, they mention the Broken Spoke or the Little Longhorn Saloon. So, okay, those are some things. Okay. So that's a good little overview. Now let's look up best things to do on a bachelor party in Austin, Texas. Now this list might be a little bit different, I'm guessing. So they say Lake Day. So I guess that's a lake. I actually did see something about this before. You can just hang out on the lake and get double-decker boats with water slides. Oh, okay. There's river tubing, so for a more laid-back experience, not the group I'm going with. Float down the San Marcos or Cozumel River. I would like to do that, but no, they're not going to go for it. Looks like they have a Top Golf or Urban Axes. And then there's Mini Golf, definitely not what the people I'm going with are going to want to do. There's a gun range, too. And a Lone Star Ranch and Rodeo. No, we're not doing that. I mean, I would do it, but I'm not with these people. Okay. They have like brewery tours, looks like. It's a lot of breweries. They stash the nightlife and entertainment at the bottom. So it looks like Rainy Street Historic District, which is quaint converted bungalow houses, and now there's a lot of like laid back bars with patio space and food trucks. So that's Rainy Street, and then the other one is what they call Dirty Sixth, which is 6th Street. So that's more high energy. It sounds like more of a bachelor party atmosphere. So I'm in San Diego, so it's like our Fifth Street, I guess. It's a Dirty Six, known for its dense concentration of lively bars, loud music, cheap drinks, and it's pedestrian only on the weekends. Okay, so that's cool. And then it says catch some authentic live music, legendary venues like the Continental Club or Antone's nightclub, the White Horse for True. Oh, okay. So here are the the gentlemen's clubs, the Yellow Rose, and the Palazzo Cabaret, all for VIP rooms. Okay. Well, I might end up. Oh, we might be there. So I don't know. Well, oopsie. Am I there? Okay. I'm here. I'm back. Okay, so that's kind of what we have going on. It's going to be a quick turnaround. Probably just a lot of barbecue, a couple nightclubs, maybe some live music if I'm lucky. We'll see. I did want to, I mentioned I did want to go to the Alamo, which is in San Antonio, but it's like a 2-hour drive, and I don't think I'm going to have enough time. So, I'm not going to be able to do it. But, okay. So, next on the agenda, and actually, I should probably, at the start of this, tell you what I want to talk about. I think, you see in these, oh, what do I do for a podcast? They say, oh, set it up, I'm going to talk about this, then this, then this. So I should do that. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I do have notes, believe it or not, but so for the remainder of the podcast, I wanted to talk about my 5 favorite movies. So I'm just going to kind of list them, talk about them. I have some honorable mention as well. Then I I wanted to look at the news. I haven't done this yet, but I thought it might be interesting. So I have kind of a routine of like what I look at when I look at stuff online. So I look at typically, and I don't know if there's like a tinge of autism. I don't know, but I kind of repeatedly do this. Some spectrum behavior, but I look at ESPN.com, I look at CNN.com, then I look at Facebook, then I look at Twitter or X. It's kind of where I do that, and that's what I check or whatever when I'm trying to get news. And I used to go more like Yahoo, but that got too much, so I don't do Yahoo anymore. I mean, I could if you want to, but I don't typically do it. So I'll probably at another time maybe have more to say. But let's do our top 5 movies list. So these are Chris's top 5 movies of all time. And, honestly, I mean, are they the top 5 movies? They're obviously not the top 5 movies. There's not like The Godfather or like something like that. Apocalypse Now or, another Marlon Brando movie. But they're just like my top 5. And honestly, came up with this list tonight. I could be missing a couple, and maybe the order's not fully accurate. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in reverse order. So I'm going to start at number 5 and work my way down so that you're kind of, oh, what's he going to pick? What could it be? I'm sure you're on the edge of the seat there, your seat. So anyway, the number 5 movie, drumroll. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's called Love and Mary. It was a movie, I honestly don't know when it came out. Maybe 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. But anyway, it's called Love and Mary. I don't even know who directed it. I have no idea. Actually, I don't know a lot of the details on these movies. I can just tell you the title, but I don't want to give away spoilers, but so Love and Mary is it's about this girl and this guy, and the main character is the woman. Well, actually, it's kind of the girl. Whatever. There's a girl and a guy, and essentially they're engaged, and the girl owns a bakery, but it's kind of and they live in Los Angeles, and it's not doing well. It's kind of in trouble financially. She's not making a rent payment. The landlord is like, I'm going to evict you. And her husband is like this science teacher, and he's kind of a huge nerd, but he's very like into his teaching, apparently smart, whatever. But he has all these allergies and all this stuff. And the teacher, the guy, has a twin brother who's like kind of like a loser, and he's like a an actor, and so he's trying to like make it, but he like drinks, he smokes, he's kind of a loser, and um, so basically so there's these two things. There's like the woman in her bakery, there's the fiance in her bakery, and then there's the guy, and then this loser, the loser brother. And so what happens is, and I do find this a little weird, but anyway, the woman needs like a loan essentially to keep her business afloat. So she is originally from Houston, Texas, and she has this grandpappy or grandfather, and she basically wants to ask him for a loan. And I think he actually lent her the money to start the bakery. But anyway, she went to like French pastry school and makes all these like French pastries, like foo, like real like Michelin star, like desserts. I don't even know if that's a thing. It's probably not. Whatever. So she does that. So she's like, I need to go home, and the her fiance is like, he breaks out in hives because he can't eat sweets or whatever, and she gives him a piece of cake just to try, and he just breaks out in hives, and so he has to take like an oatmeal bath or take, I don't know, but he said, look, have my brother go with you, and right before that the brother got arrested, so she has to bail the brother out from jail, the bad actor brother. She has to bail him out from jail. They don't tell you, but later you find out he had like unpaid parking tickets, and so he got like picked up for that or something. Whatever. So it wasn't like he like killed somebody or like robbed somebody or something. Anyway, unless you consider that robbing the government, I don't know. But so he agrees because that's the only way she's going to bail him out. So the brother who's the what do you call it, the actor, the loser brother, is like going to impersonate him for the weekend since this guy can't really go in time, and she just needs to get down there, and the only way she can go is if she brings her fiance, and they're like identical twins, they look the same. So anyway, so he does, so he goes down with her. So the point of the movie is that it's kind of like them kind of forming a relationship, and I won't spoil the details, but the thing is that even though she's like the one who has it all together and she's the baker and this guy's a loser, when you meet her family, they're like totally quirky and they all are weird, and the actual fiance is like pretty uptight, and she's like afraid like he wouldn't accept her family or would think they're weird and wouldn't like her. But the brother kind of embraces the craziness. And so you'll see. And then feelings may change and different things. So anyway, is it the greatest movie ever? No, and it's probably like a really small budget and it's like whatever. But and again, they go to Houston, Texas. Not that it has anything to do with Austin. But I don't even particularly like Texas, so just putting that out there. But in any event, so that's the movie. I like love stories or whatever, and that one, it always makes me cry. I don't know why. I guess I'm a softie, but it really does. Okay, so that's 5. Let's keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving. Okay, so number 4. Okay, it's Ordinary People. I'm trying to think who's in it. Okay, Donald Sutherland's in it. Mary Tyler Moore is in it. I don't know the name of the son. There's a guy in it. The guy from Taxi or Taxi Driver, I forget which one. He's like a therapist in it. So I think this won Movie of the Year in 1980, and again, it's called Ordinary People. And I'd be lying if I didn't just say it's because my dad really likes this movie, and so I would watched it, and because of that, but it is like a really good, it's like Movie of the Year, like one Academy Award. But anyway, but it holds up. Like I saw it a couple, like a month ago, and it totally holds up. But the gist of this movie is there's a family, so there's a mom, a dad, um, and a son, and essentially they had another son, or he had a brother, and he died. The brother died in a boating accident, like some traumatic boating accident, and so basically that's the brother of the guy who died was with him when he died, and after the fact, uh, tried to commit suicide. So they found him. He had like slit his wrist or something. So they found him, but they saved his. He lived, and he went through. He was in a hospital and went through all that, and so the movie's kind of like them trying to like get past this, and so the dad is kind of like acknowledging like the son's not doing that well, like he's struggling, but the mom is just like Mary Tyler Moore is just like, everything's fine. We're great. We're at, just like nothing is different, or like, and it kind of comes out like the son who died was like the favorite son. He's like the older son, and so the kid, and the kid's the alive son is like the main character, but it's kind of like, the dad's kind of trying to help him, and but kind of like uh, kind of clumsy or whatever. But the mom is just like, she's like very cold to him. She doesn't act like anything happened. She doesn't acknowledge. She doesn't like even want him to see a psychologist, therapist, or whatever. And so it's kind of like that dynamic of like, the dad's trying to hold the family together, and the son and the mom fight, and then the son starts to like kind of date somebody, and then she is kind of insensitive to his having committed suicide, or like what that real pain is, of going through that. And then there's kind of a culmination of like, why did he try to kill himself? And he's this relationship with the taxi driver, therapist guy, and they have some pretty good back and forth. And in college I was a psychology major, so to me, I actually found that part pretty interesting or funny or whatever. So at the end, he kind of realizes why he is mad at himself, or why he tried to kill himself, and it may be pretty obvious on who he blames and what he blames. But I'll let you watch it if anybody sees this. Highly recommend it. Ordinary People, great movie. It's a deep movie, but it's a good, it's well worth it. Okay, let's move it along. Next one, another movie. I think this is in the 80s. Better Off Dead. So this is a John Cusack movie. Just like I said, one of my all-time favorite movies. It's really funny. So John Cusack is in high school, and I guess now that I think about it, another kind of morbid movie, but it's just good. So John Cusack's in high school. He meets, or he's dating this girl, like the love of his life. He's like obsessed with her, and then she ends up dumping him for like this super jock guy, um, who's so they live in like a ski town. I forget where, it might be Colorado or somewhere, but something like that. And there's like the K-12 like mountain, and so he's the only one. He's like the head of the ski team. Blaine, I believe is his name, and the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, hunk guy, and John Cusack. So she dumps him. So then he becomes suicidal, and he attempts. I think it's like a comedy. So he attempts to like a dark comedy. So he tries to like kill himself multiple ways, but he keeps it not doesn't work. Like he's trying to you know gas himself in the garage with the car, and he hits the gas and backs out and breaks his dad's garage door, or he's trying to hang himself, or and it's something I don't know, whatever. It doesn't that part doesn't sound funny, but they make it funny anyway. The point is that the movie's really funny, and then he challenges this like jock guy to do the K-12, and so like the kind of the last scene is him doing that, but in the interim his neighbor, while he's like so upset about this girl that he was in love with, the neighbor has a French exchange student, this girl, and she, he starts to, I guess, have feelings for her. They start to form a relationship. So he starts to kind of get over, this other girl. It's kind of like getting over it, but it's just a hilarious movie, and just it's awesome. So you should definitely see that. That holds up as well. I saw it. I mean, there's a few, off-color type jokes and stuff, but for the most part, it holds up pretty well. Okay, number 2, Braveheart. So the Mel Gibson movie. So I actually haven't seen this in a long time, but I've seen it probably 50 times, or I don't know, something. But so Braveheart, I'm trying to think, it was I think it was based on William Wallace, who was a real guy, but I believe it takes place in like the 1200s, and so Mel Gibson is William Wallace, and essentially it was around the time of, and there's way more to the history, so I'm not an expert, so forgive me, but basically England was kind of like dominating Scotland and was, kind of pillaging and just was not very nice to the Scottish people, and so that it's kind of like the Scottish people kind of revolted to try to get their independence, and just all about like, this guy is just trying to get freedom, and it's like he gets married secretly, so they had this law, and I believe it's true. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's accurate. The movie where if you were if you're Scottish and you wanted to marry another, if you're Scottish, you want to marry a Scottish woman, then and you did the first night you were married, the English whoever like the lord or the of the area was able to like sleep with your wife the first night. And the idea is they wanted to try to like breed out the Scottish and like make them English, and then because then they hopefully would have it in their mind, hopefully would have a baby, and then so which is pretty horrible, so nobody really wanted to get married, I would assume, or they'd do it secretly. So he did it secretly, Mel Gibson, in the movie. Then the English, somebody figures it out somehow that he did, so they try to rape his wife, so then he ends up, I think they kill his new wife or whatever, and then so he goes on a rampage, kills everybody, and then there's like a revenge thing, like, but then he starts like gathering up all the Scottish people, and they start attacking, first the smaller forts, and then the bigger forts and cities, and all this stuff, and eventually he gets, well, I don't want to give it away, but if you look up a history book, you can figure out what happens to him. But, the point was just like freedom, and, the most important thing is just being free. And that has always like resonated with me. In fact, my senior year, my quote in my senior year high school yearbook, I think was, I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. So there you go. But so it was very impressionable to me at the time. Again, I haven't seen it in a while, but It's just, I don't know. I love that movie. It was a good one. Just seemed very important. Okay, now last but not least, and you're gonna think what, but my favorite movie. Now this could change. Now, but for now, let's just say this: my favorite movie is Sideways. So Sideways, it was a movie. I believe it came out in 2004. I think I was a senior in college, but it has Paul Giamatti and I think it's Thomas Hayden Church or Christensen Church or Thomas something. He might have been on Wings, if I remember, or maybe that's a different guy. Whatever. It has him and Paul Giamatti, and so the movie is kind of like a wine-based movie, and I'm not even like really into wine, but I love the movie. It's great. So the concept is that it's basically a guy who is getting married to Thomas Hayden Church, I think that's his name, and Paul Giamatti is like his best man, and he wants to like take him on his like bachelor weekend. So it's just like the two of them, and Paul Giamatti is like, I'm going to take you to like Santa Barbara wine country, and we're going to do like wine tasting and stuff like that, and we're just kind of like a guy's weekend, and so the Paul Giamatti is like a actor. Or no, he's not an actor. Thomas Hayden Church is an actor, but like he was on like a soap opera or something, and kind of like not a big time actor, and kind of he's looking to get into other work. He does like voiceovers or whatever. But Paul Giamatti is like a kind of like a loser, like high school, I think middle school or high school English teacher, but he really wants to write like the great American novel, and he writes one. He's a manuscript, but it's like not getting published. So so that's kind of his. But and he like drinks a lot. You know, he drinks a lot of wine. He's like a wino, you know. So in the movie, Paul Giamatti lives in San Diego. His buddy lives in L.A., and they're going up to like Santa Barbara, and like the wine country up there. So like Los Olivos and things like that. And so they go up there, but it turns out that the friend is kind of like a scumbag, Thomas Hayden Church, and he wants to like cheat on his wife or his fiance, and he's like looking to like hook up with chicks, whereas the Paul Giamatti guy just wants to have like a nice time and just hang out as guys and just, you know, send them off well, have some nice wine, that sort of thing. And kind of the movie is about that. And then also Paul Giamatti's divorced, but then he finds out that his wife, or ex-wife, is coming to the wedding because they were all like mutual friends, and she remarried, but he doesn't know that. And this guy Thomas Hayden Church tells him that she's remarried, and so he's like some epic meltdown. I don't want to spoil too much, but and then the guy ends up dating. I guess he called dating. Thomas Hayden Church meets Sandra Oh, actress Sandra Oh, who's like I don't know, a sommelier or wine connoisseur, or no, like I don't know, I guess a sommelier. I don't know, at a winery, and ends up hooking up with her, and then so, whatever. There's a lot of funny stuff. I just really liked it. When I saw it, my no, I didn't cheat or anything, but I reminded, like the guy was kind of cocky or whatever. The Thomas Hayden Church guy was kind of like me, and then my buddy Dan, who I went to college with, was kind of like Paul Giamatti. Like was like depressed, and you know, it was just felt like it was us. And we watched the movie for the first time together. So to me, it was pretty funny, you know, that we saw it together. But ever since then, I just kind of love it. And then when we went on my wife and I, we went on our baby moon. We actually went to Santa Barbara, and I did, it's like the unofficial, because I just kind of looked around and did it on my own. But we did the wine, or we went to the different wineries that they went to. And my wife was pregnant, so she had to drive. But it was fine. We didn't go that long, but it was really cool. Like we got to go to all the places in the movie, and then we stayed at the Windmill Inn, which is the place they stayed at. In the now it's called something else, or now it's called the Sideways Inn, but it's in Buellton, California. But anyway, so the movie's great. The writing and the acting is really good, and I just love that. I've only been there a few times, but I love the central coast of California. It's really cool. I would probably move there. If I could, I ideally would like to move to Santa Barbara. Currently, I live in San Diego. But honestly, if I could live anywhere in America or whatever, I would probably move to Santa Barbara. That's just my my wife thinks I have like an unhealthy obsession with Santa Barbara, which she's probably right. She just thinks it's like a normal beach town and whatever, but I like it. Hey, if it's good enough for Oprah and Prince William, or sorry, Prince Henry and Meghan Markle, it's good enough for me, right? So that's number one. So let's recap the list. Love and Mary 5, Ordinary People 4, Better Off Dead 3, Braveheart 2, Sideways 1. I do have to get a few honorable mentions, which I'm going to list now. So one, I won't listen, or number them, but Pulp Fiction. I absolutely love Pulp Fiction. Pretty much I'm not going to recap it or anything, but like every other quote, like from that movie, like there's so many quotes, like everything, like Zed's dead, baby. It's like you could just, to this day, I say I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. A $5 milkshake? Yeah, I mean, look at the big brain on Brad. I could just be cool, honey bunny. I mean, I just, how many of these? I could say all of them. It maybe should be in my top 5, if now that I'm kind of thinking about it. I love it. It's just the Quentin Tarantino movie. It's just the best. That Office Space, which I don't have like the emotional tie to it, but I love it. It's like, again, the most quotable movie. I wouldn't say I'm missing it, Bob, or whatever. You wouldn't know all the quotes. Jump to conclusions. It's like, 2 chicks at the same time. We could just go on and on. It's not just about me and my dream of doing nothing. Or I think he said something like that, but it's pretty funny. Okay, here's another one that's like kind of my dad influence. There's a movie called The Razor's Edge. So it was a Bill Murray movie. I think his brother was in it. Some other actors I kind of forget. I forget the other actors. It's a really good movie. We watch it as a tradition. Typically, we watch it on Christmas Eve. But it's just kind of like the meaning of life. What does life mean? This guy, Bill Murray, had a privileged life, or was going to have one, and he was a medic in World War One. So all this horrible stuff, and he realized, I don't want like the fancy house, the big car, the whatever. And it took place in World War One, so the 20s or whatever. And so he kind of trades all that in and travels the world, and he visits the Tibet, and all this. So it's just a really, it just makes you think like, what's the meaning of life and what's the point of all this. So it's really good from that perspective. And then just the last one I'm going to mention, and there's plenty more. I do like movies. There's a lot I don't like, but there's a lot I do. Last one I'll mention here is Unforgiven, which is the Clint Eastwood movie, Western. I believe it won Picture of the Year in 1990 or 1991. But the long story short is, it's this William Monty, who's Clint Eastwood. He gets paid. He kind of needs money, and his wife passed away, so he gets paid to kind of put he gets a contract to kill a couple cowboys who cut up some women who I guess prostitutes you would call them, and they'd cut up the prostitutes, and so they end up killing some people, or Clint Eastwood does, and his posse. Morgan Freeman's in it. But the gist of the movie is that, this his name's William Monty, but he's like pretty old, but he supposedly used to be like the most like vicious killer in the West, ever basically, and he like killed all these people and was like the best like shot and like whatever, and like the whole movie people are like, who's this guy? He's like some old guy, whatever, and he drinks and it's like whatever, and at the end of the movie, I'm just gonna give it away. At the end of the movie, what's his name's in it? Little Bill. He just died. What's his name? I forget. But it'll come to me. But I keep wanting to say Bill Murray, but it's not him. It's the other guy. Hoosiers, the guy that was in Hoosiers. Anyway, so he kind of kills his friend or does something, and then you kind of see the real William Monty. So the whole time he goes, William Monty, he goes, I don't do that anymore. I don't like kill people. I'm not a monster. I don't do it anymore. And then at the end of the movie, it just gets pushed and pushed and pushed until he's like, you know what? I am that monster. And he just kills them all. And it's just kind of like, wow. It's a pretty incredible movie. And again, picture of the year. So I think that's great. It's a good one. It could have been, I had it in the top 5. I bumped it down for Better Off Dead, although maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to stick to what I said. I'm going to scan the comments. We're coming up about 52 minutes. So next up, I'm going to look at news, because I do just want to try this, and it's getting late here, so I don't necessarily want to step that late. So I'm gonna wrap it soon, but let's go through this quick here. Okay, let's look at what the news is. Okay, so first I went on ESPN.com, okay? So it looks like Miami, number 10, beat Ole Miss in the college football semifinal, 31-27. And then Beck, I believe, was Carson Beck darts for go-ahead TV as Miami rallies to stun Ole Miss. Okay, I haven't been as much into college football this year. I went to UNC. I actually liked I don't like Bill Belichick, but I like UNC, and he was our coach, and I was like, oh, let me pay attention. And then, like, the first game, they get blown out, and we're pretty bad all year. So I'm kind of out. I did like Penn State actually as well, but I think they weren't very good either. They fired their coach. So yeah, late Beck TV. Don't really care. QB Williams runs reverse, stays at Washington. I don't know who that is. Ravens Monken, I guess Todd Monken didn't coach Lamar well enough. I don't know. That doesn't mean anything to me. Whatever. I'm not a Ravens fan. I don't care. Let's see what else here. Let's see the scores. Anything of interest? Flyers lost. I don't care about them. Let's see if no, they didn't play. Okay. Let's see if there's any. Nope. Nothing that interesting. If you're into the Olympics, looks like gold medalist Kim injured. Chloe Kim injured shoulder. Status for Winter Games unknown. She's a snowboarder. Okay, that's unfortunate. But whoa, don't want to hear that. Okay, let's go to CNN. Okay, let's just keep it moving. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. Oh, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole for today. So it says the headline: Minnesota officials say they've been blocked from ICE shooting investigation. So does that mean they're the? I don't get it. So ICE is blocking them? Okay. So protests have erupted over the killing of 37-year-old Renee Good as federal authorities stonewall leaders. Okay. So the feds are stopping the local leaders. But wouldn't it, I don't know this, I'm not an expert, but wouldn't it be a local matter? Like, wouldn't the local police investigate? I know ICE was there, they probably have to investigate too, but like, so there, I don't know. Okay, what's the next headline? CNN's Omar Jimenez runs as tensions flare up in Minnesota. Okay. So it looks like there's. Oh, well, here's another one. 2 people shot by federal agents in Portland, Oregon, local police say. And that's not good. So now there's 3 people got shot in the last 2 days. Okay. Oh, here they say ICE officer in Minneapolis shooting was injured by suspect in a traffic stop last year. I'm not gonna. I don't have anything to say about this at the moment. It's just sad. It's sad. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, different story. It says NATO faces major crisis over Greenland. Europe seems powerless to stop it. Okay, Top diplomats from Greenland and Denmark met with White House officials as Trump pushes for ownership. Okay, I guess I have a tiny bit to say. Although this sounds crazy too, but what I would say is, can we just buy it? Or and when I say we, I mean America, can we just buy Greenland? Now I think they want it for defense purposes, but like, is there something, can we work something out? I don't know. I saw somewhere, I think yesterday, where Trump threatened to send in or like use the military, and I'm like, well, I don't know. That seems like a lot. I don't know. Russia strikes Ukraine with Oreshevsky ballistic missile, one of its most advanced weapons. God, okay. Okay. Patty Smith talks to Anderson Cooper about grief. Okay. Not sure what's going on there. Okay, what do you say we change? Let's switch. There wasn't anything that I really wanted to talk about, if I'm being honest. Okay, so we're on. Let's try my own personal account. Let's see. Okay, so I'm on Facebook. Just trying to see. Oh, okay, here's that one. Okay. There's a goat. No, it's a lot of like. No, I think I'm out on all that. Yeah, nothing interesting. I'm sorry tonight. Maybe the interesting journalists have taken off tonight. I don't know. I'm gonna go on X. I'm gonna go on my personal X, and I'm just gonna. Let's just see. You know what? I don't know if I want to do it. There's a lot of financial stuff. Oh, I'm not getting into this. This was a bad idea. I'll come up with a different way to do the news. What I was doing is not going to work out. Okay, but that leads me to my let's see how many more things. I think I just have one more thing. So I wanted to leave you with a tip because I want to provide value. You know, they would say, "Oh, you have to provide value." Okay. So here's my tip, Chris's tip for the day. So this is called the wooden spoon trick. Okay. So to prevent a pot of water from boiling over, you place a wooden spoon across the top, and the wood breaks the surface tension of the bubbles and helps them condense back into the water. So a wooden spoon over a boiling pot apparently will make it so that the bubbles go back down. I'm just going to be honest, I've never tried that. So I don't know. I think you should do your own research actually before you do the wooden spoon trick to prevent boiling water. So please do your own research. Don't listen to me. But it is something to look into. Routinely that happens to me. Not that I'm cooking, but when my wife says, "Hey, can you boil some water for what she's going to cook?" This happens. It spills, and if you have we have a gas situation, and it's you don't want it to hit that. Is it going to screw it up? Who knows? I don't know. So I want to make sure. So okay, well I think we can probably close it out. We just hit the hour mark. Surprisingly, I have to work tomorrow when I gotta get up and at 'em. I'm still planning to do a Sunday podcast, probably after the Eagles game. So I'll have that to talk about, the party I'm going to talk about, and I'll come up with some other segments. I may try to do the news segment, but I really do have to do a different way because I don't know, I didn't look into some of these stories. I don't really want to talk about them online, honestly. I mean, at some point I would like to talk about stuff, but no, I don't want to talk about it right now. I haven't researched it. So anyway, so that said, if you're still listening, you deserve a medal. But to reiterate, you're listening to the Cry Harder podcast, and I am Chris Black, your host, I guess you would call me. I don't know. But thank you for listening, and until I talk to you, no, I need a better tagline. So I had started a UNC podcast, basketball podcast, and my tagline, which I really like, which works for that, it doesn't work for this, but it was called the Chapel Hill Players Club, was the name of the podcast. But my tagline was, and I'll use it here, players, well, until next time, okay, players, play on.